Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. The Homie Preach. We're gonna check out the Homie Preach. He has finally finished Stormblood. Now, look, a lot of people, they don't like Stormblood. I was one of the few who honestly didn't. It was honestly kind of a chore to get through. There were some moments that honestly came in clutch. I honestly felt like the developers, they really kind of shanked Elise's development. They could have done so much with her. They could have given her a lot more wins. Honestly, I felt like there was more shine on Rabon. Like they really did a good job with the whole, like, really towards the end with Rabon and the Sultana with their development. I really loved like that little arc that they had. It was beautifully done. I enjoyed that so much more than what they did with Elise. It was heartbreaking. it was beautiful at the same time. But man, I honestly cared more about that than I did with Elise. But nevertheless, we're gonna check out the Homie Preach. Excuse me, not Peach. But the thing about Preach is that a lot of these guys that I'm discovering coming from the WoW community, whether it be Preach, whether it be, you know, Zepla, who else that I'm discovering, Asmongold, Rich, everyone else that I'm discovering coming from WoW, man. Like, I'm also checking out some of their, you know, some of their older videos, like some of their WoW stuff, Pyromancer. Like, I'm enjoying like a lot of this. Like, I'm enjoying your stuff. Like, this is awesome. I'm glad that these guys are actually giving Final Fantasy a chance. I'm glad that I gave Final Fantasy a chance, because it opens a new door to a lot of creators who I didn't even know was on the platform. And I think that's the greatest thing about trying video games, in seeing new creators, and it opens up a new window to discover new things, you know. So trying new things, it's healthy and it's good, you know. It opens up a lot of doors, you know, for discovery and all that jazz. But enough of that. Let's see what the Homie Preach has to say about Stormblood. Now, I'm pretty sure he's gonna say what everyone else is gonna say, but I could be wrong. He might have liked it a lot more than we have. We'll see. So, without further ado, grab your popcorn, grab your snacky snacks. Preach, let's see what you gotta say.
Look at this.
Oh, and if my computer lags, it's not you, it's me.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and that never gets old, man, when these guys like get into a new expansion.
10 quests later.
No! Why? You Squeenix, why? We have arrived. We are here in Stormblood. We're a couple of days in, and as I mentioned in the last video, one of the most intriguing things for me is seeing how the developers try to improve.
Oh, and also I'm kind of doing this off the cuff, so hopefully the audio on both our videos kind of matches up and syncs up well. Hopefully, like, one is not drowning out the other. So I mean, if it does, I'm gonna try to fix it post-production.
Tried to take what they had done before, which was, I mean, this is a difficult act to follow. Heavensward is literally, as the meme goes, a critically acclaimed second best RPG story I've ever played version of Final Fantasy XIV ever. So how do you go one better? And interestingly enough, I did spot a lot of people saying, I don't really like Stormblood. They don't really, you know, yeah.
Oh shit, I also forgot, this may be spoilers, man, for those who have not played Stormblood. I think spoilers will be in this. Well, it says pre-Stormblood spoilers, but fucking Preach, he's using spoilers in his clip, man. So spoilers, man. Dude, come on.
Stormblood. So I was aware that this general feeling existed in some of the community, while other people were saying, I really enjoyed Stormblood. But as always, we are going to make our own opinion. We want to take it as fresh as we can do and see what comes from it. And so, going into Stormblood, there was a lot that happened at the ends of Heavensward. We had a mega weapon crashing into the sea, along with the giant primal from Ilberd, and we've broken through the wall, and we've inadvertently started a war with Gridania. With the Garleans.
Yeah, Garleans.
And we are here to deal with the repercussions of this situation. So it was a good cliffhanger at the end of Heavensward. Wasn't quite as... It didn't set as many of the loose threads that a Realm Reborn had. So I think they learned from that. It's like, we don't need to have 40 threads going into the new expansion, because Heavensward doesn't even resolve some of them until the very, very end of the game. And you've no doubt when this concept was current, people were losing their minds saying, what the hell is happening with Urianger? What is going on with Ida and Papalimo? Where are they? It is now so long.
That was a great arc, by the way.
We still haven't seen this. They're clearly
the Words
not
of Darkness,
dead.
that was really great.
So where is Minfilia? What has happened with Ishtola and Thancred and all those guys? And you don't really find out until you're quite a ways into Heavensward. So this time around, they kind of started resolving things much, much quicker. I still don't know where Omega Weapon and such is, but, you know, they've started to really pick up the story almost as if it was a smooth transition, as if you finished one quest and went straight into the continuation of that. And obviously the first thing they need to do is set the scene. Now, coming from Heavensward, one of the slight criticisms I had of Heavensward was that they took 40% of the main story quest to set up the chessboard, to place those pieces on the board. And I was kind of really curious. One, there was the feedback. One was like, do they want to leave as many loose threads? Obviously, no, they don't. Will they leave some unresolved issues till way later? Maybe, but not as many as they did before.
Yo, is he
and
using
three,
G-Shade?
how long are they
really
going to
clean.
take in this expansion to get the pieces on the board, to set up what ultimately for the climax of whatever the story is, and to get characters in play? Not long at all, at least from what I can see so far. So again, another development cycle. They took the feedback from players who were obviously very anxious to find out what had happened at the end of Realm Reborn going to Heavensward. This time around, they very quickly get the pieces on the board and then get you into the action. They want to get you going right off the bat. And this was a good change, although will it have the same impact as the Heavensward stuff does? I don't know yet, obviously. But it was nice to see that they weren't going to just leave things dangling for a while. Such as, one thing I did expect is that maybe we'll just sort of protect the wall for a while, then deal with maybe something going on in Alamigo or something along those lines. But this is not that. In fact, it got us thrown straight away. And so far, I can tell you this about the Stormblood story, and obviously we'll see this develop over the course of the journey we go on through these videos, is a very Robin Hood sort of inspiration. In that we have this very oppressive ruler who is taking from the poor for themselves. They're collecting tithe, they're collecting tribute, they are beating, and they are bullying and murdering and recruiting from the...
Yeah, I feel like so far the whole like Empire thing, I mean, it feels very Star Wars-y-esque. You know? Like even the name Empire. Like it feels very much like Star Wars. You know? I don't know. I just get that whole vibe from it. Like, I mean, I wouldn't really consider Xenos like in that realm of Darth Vader. I mean, he kind of is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he is badass, but yeah, I wouldn't really put him in that realm of Vader, because I mean, Vader is more like mechanical and like nimble. Xenos, like, he's, I don't know what Xenos is. I like how you can't really, like, Xenos is like thick, but he's like, I mean, you don't really see Xenos. I mean, Xenos can move, but like he's like more chunky and like see, we've only fought Xenos like, well, how many times have we fought Xenos? Has it been like only twice? Because there was like once in the chambers, and we thought he was dead. Was it? That was it, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it, right? We've only fought him once. No, it was more times. Yeah, because he folded us. He folded us when at what Rogor's Reach. Yeah, he folded us. Yeah, so we fought him more times. So we fought him twice. Because at Rogor's Reach, when he invaded, and like he slashed Yustola. Yeah, and we got folded. and we thought he'd be die. No, we fought him like 3 times. Yeah, we fought like 3 times because that 3rd time we got like teleported at the end. Like that was like almost like at the beginning of what, Shadowbringers almost? Yeah, we fought Xenos like 3 times, I think. We fought this man like 3 times. No, like that was like at the end. No, that was at the end of Stormblood. Like the very end of Stormblood. Yeah, we fought Xenos like 3 times. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. But nevertheless, I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 3 times we fought this man. But, or it could be more. Fuck, I don't know. Nevertheless, I mean, I wouldn't really say that Vader and Xenos would be almost like their moves, the way they move would be, you know, kind of the same, but Xenos, he hits hard, man, but but the whole concept of, you know, Empire and Empire, I mean, they just feel similar to me. Story-wise, they just feel so similar. That's why it feels like at times kind of cheesy.
Just taking everything they can. So that we have the Sheriff of Nottingham style character, who is just riding around, and this is the Skulls, who are taking from, even though they are from.
Whatever happened to Fedora? Whatever happened?
Well, citizenship.
Well, yeah,
and the privileges that come with being part of the Imperial Empire.
We just kind of left
her. They have forsaken their own kin. For sure.
I mean, at this time, I'm already in Shadowbringers, so I don't even know.
And they're quite happy to use that gifted power that the Garleans have got them in order to tread on their common man. I like this. I think this is a pretty cool story. It's a good basic setting. It's not cliche. It's been done before, but it's a good setting to set up a good story. To see where this goes and how the revolution should come about. Now, one of the biggest changes that they had coming from Heavensward was a character I didn't particularly like, which was Ida, who then turns out to be Lise. And I don't particularly like Lise.
Everyone has an issue with Lise.
Why would I? She's been lying to us for a long time. And Lord knows Final Fantasy XIV does play with our emotions considerably. And so I have no positive feelings towards Lise whatsoever. She's an untrustworthy character, and I'm still rebuilding trust with several of the Scions, including Urianger, who's also been lying to us for good cause, but still with deception. And a lot of the early game of Stormblood is trying to...
The boy Alfie has more use than Lise. I don't know what... Why is everyone disrespecting the boy Alfie? Alfie... Listen, y'all gotta start putting respect on the boy Alfie. Just because I think the issue is because Alizé is a chick and you guys are simping over her. Alizé is just another Lise. That's all she's just a hothead, bro. She has no use besides being another loose cannon. She spent an entire arc being lost and confused and trying to find herself in that whole, please don't leave me and shit, bro. That whole arc, that whole bullshit of being confused and not being alone, bro, fuck that shit, bro. Alfie, yes, he's kind of quirky and corny and kind of a goofball, but at least Alfie know who the fuck he is at the end of the day. And that's what I always respect about him. Even when we got kicked out of Uda, and he was downtrodden, and even though when the Crystal Brave turned against him, he picked himself back up, bro. Got right back up, turned that shit around. What the fuck has Alizé done, bro? Y'all can't be serious, man. Y'all gotta start putting respect on the boy Alfie. This man is a mastermind. This man is a genius. Who's putting together all the plans, working shit out, doing this? This man has done so much work for us in the Scions. I don't know. I honestly don't know, man. Like, Preach, come on.
Well, that's kind of it for me. That's kind of my S tier for the Scions. With Ishtola and Alisei leading the charge there as wonderful characters that I would happily, whenever I get assigned to doing a mission with those two, I'm like, that's great. We're going to go see Matoya with these guys? Awesome. Let's go. The same with Kryle. Absolutely wonderful. I don't care particularly. I know people hate me for this, but I don't know why, because he's really done nothing worthwhile. I don't particularly like Thancred. I don't particularly like Oriange right now. And we always laugh while we're playing through this. It's like
you're
the
growing
redemption arc coming.
Yeah.
So
I'll let that slide.
I'll let that slide. That's a whole fresh character as far as I'm concerned.
He's only in Stormblood. I'll let that slide.
They're also trying to teach her lessons as well. So her character's developing as we're learning about her character. So there very much might be something there. What I do enjoy though is the setting. The zones so far, pretty.
Fucking ad.
Nothing particularly stand out. What I do like is some of the geographical details in the early zones. Having this big castrum in the middle of a bridge was beautiful. My favorite zone so far, of course, Kugani. Been to Kugani now. That is one of the best cities I've ever seen.
Kugani is beautiful, man.
Like, was absolutely extraordinary. A lot to learn there, though. I like the idea that it's this trading outpost. It's the only one that's working. It's the only one that accepts foreign visitors. As such, it is full of all different kind of races and creeds.
The fuck?
By the 12, a talking fish. They're all working together. There's the racism is obviously there, which you would expect with so many different races that some are considered useful, some are considered not, and blah, 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 blah. But they're still throwing in a lot of stuff like they did in Heavensward with the Confederacy and how they're dealing with the Ruby Sea and getting across there and who could traverse this. And you've got to be good in Kugane, otherwise you're going to get attacked. And there's a lot to pick up. But the setting is gorgeous. I've just traveled to a brand new zone, which has a Jenga tower that reaches up into the sky like some sort of Minecraft tower. That's where I'm
heaven on high.
So you guys know where I'm up to. That is it. In terms of mechanics then. Okay, so this has some mixed things for me so far, and I'm really wondering how they play out with this. Going to the first town, Ralga's Reach, one thing I noticed was that they had us doing some very classic MMO chore stuff. The Warrior of Light was herbs and filling in logs. Now it's only 5 or 10 minutes of questing, but it felt very out of place compared to what you do in the MSQ for A Realm Reborn and Heavensward.
Man, listen, every fucking time, listen, this is what I can't stand about doing the every time, man, when we go into another city, another village, win the allies' trust. This is why I burned through that one section. Every fucking time we go into a village, when the villagers trust to get their help, we have to do fucking chores every time. And I'm like, bro, I am the warrior of I am Heidelin's chosen. I have defeated gods. I have overthrown nations. I have defeated primals. I have liberated the slaves. Literally, I've liberated the people, saved the meek, feed the hungry. I've cleaned the streets. I've literally turned day into night. And you're telling me, after all of that, you're telling me the only way I can get your cooperation is to pick some fucking herbs, deliver some mail, and find your lost cat. Bruh. Again, do I need to remind y'all what the fuck I've done? Turned day into night.
And they've kind of done this strange pacing thing. They have an extraordinarily cool scenario, Duty, out in the open world with great voice acting, returning characters, big battles that are lengthy and you don't just squash them into the ground. Really solid stuff. Then they go, okay, you just had a nice, cool, big battle. That's cool. Now I kind of need you to do some minutiae. And I was like, I know what they're doing. They're having you explore this town, but Ralga's Reach isn't particularly big. So I'm kind of got one of our, I want to say researcher, but I've got Bex having a look to see whether there's some feedback that people couldn't really find stuff in Ishgard. And it was a little confusing, and people got mixed up, because one thing I've noticed very quickly is that Kugane is just a square. It's very, very simply laid out. I was overwhelmed at first because it's so graphically beautiful, but then you look at it and it's just a square.
Yeah, basically.
And then they have literally a tour
with just bridges
through the town. It's like, and they do tours in the previous ones, but not quite as in-depth as this, where they're like, this is here, this is here, this is the markets, this is where you're going to need to go for most of your quests, this is where you're going to need to do this. And they did the same with Ralga's Reach, where they were like, there's a back end entrance to here, there's also this camp over here, this is where we do this is where we do that, and it kind of had you circling around a bit. I was like, okay, let's see if that continues, is what I'd say for now. Let's see if that continues. I want to talk about the first dungeon, because Siren Song blew me away. Not only was it in the middle of a boat ride, which I absolutely was not expecting, and I still haven't seen my first primal yet, but good God, did they do such a good job with environmental
Yo,
stuff.
that was
And this
a
again
fun
shows
dungeon. That was a
this
really fun dungeon.
learning aspects of Squeenix coming from their previous expansions. Because one criticism I would have of some of the Heavensward dungeons is that they went all out in some of them for environment. And they created some massive, massive dungeons with not a lot to do in them. In fact, they made some chasms and caves so huge that they kind of had to have lengthy trash sections just to get you through it, because what they built was so grand in scale and so wondrous to behold. Yeah, that's not really conducive to a Final Fantasy XIV style dungeon. And what you ended up with was some rather lengthy, like, okay. And I know that if I was playing the game currently and I
honestly don't even mind like lengthy dungeons. I think they're more fun, but yeah, I mean, I'm a sprout. I'm a noob to this whole genre, so yeah.
had to redo some of these dungeons, I would start to get a little bit annoyed. Had Trial of the Crusader vibes for me. Like the first time in, wow. But you can already feel this is going to be annoying. So coming into Siren Song, they really flipped the switch on this. Now, I've only done one of the dungeons, and this of course, my opinion may develop and change. But one thing I noticed is they totally gave up on trying to create subtle environmental changes inside the dungeons. They made it much shorter, very concise dungeon. Thumbs up. Want to get in there, want to have fun, don't want to be there in all day unless it's something expansive and really cool. If it's just a nice leveling dungeon, I just want to experience it and get in and get out. And they didn't bother with trying to do these subtle thematic changes. So they go from a beachhead into a ghost ship, into fighting some sort of bizarre floating Japanese monstrosity right at the end. And they do it in the matter of a few yards. They're like, okay, you're going to do this here, where the new characters, the new enemy models were extraordinary. I remember seeing Lugat for the first time and being like, that thing is so cool. And I felt that for the next two bosses as well. But they were like, okay, you did this bit on the beach. There's a ghost ship right there. And you're like, okay. There's a giant energy tower in the distance. And now you're just going to fight that immediately after ghost ship. Instead of trying to ease you in, which I think they tried to do a lot in Heavensward. Another magnificent touch. Really enjoyed that. Now, I was raging at the beginning because you might figure out my favorite scion is Tola. One of the most useful, and that's something that I value immensely in my video games. If we're going to have these companions along for the ride, I don't like being the master of all. Like, I'm the weapon, I'm the sword, that's fine. I'm the warrior of light and I kill everything. But if I'm going to be part of a team like the Scions, useless Scions get on my nerves massively. It's one of the reasons I really did not enjoy Ida particularly, and same with Lise right now, who's not proving herself to be particularly useful. But we get introduced to someone...
But Alizé is useful? Bro...
who could have very, very easily gone over the line of being ridiculous, but they did what they did with Ravana, actually, and I had the same commentary about Ravana, is they just held back enough, and this is Xanos, the leader, the imperial leader of the area, who is, I don't know what his story is. He's getting power from somewhere. There's something going on there. He's got an Asian shoved up his ass or something. But he's a beast. He's a beastly old character, and he borders that line on being really comically cheesy evil to actually being kind of cool at the same time. And I like that character. I love the voice acting that comes with that character. He's menacing without being campy, which is not easy to pull off when you're really towing that line of him being utterly ridiculous. He's got, I mean, this is a guy who carries a golf club holder, I don't know what they're called, that literally spins and rotates his swords. So it's really close to being like, this guy's kind of lame. But it's not. He pulls off really cool, and they have your nice one-on-one with him. But so far, one thing that is great is how quickly they're throwing you into major story developments. Not only killing off characters in terms of Methrid, which was like, okay, we just met this guy, but we did some stuff with him. He taught us some valuable lessons. And we have met him before. He's a Realm Reborn character. Again, that good use of characters you've met before. They recognize you. You're the Warrior of Light. People are obviously aware of you. And then the seemingly death of Vishtola, which I genuinely was extremely pissed off about, which is hard for me, especially I've come under a lot of shit recently about not enjoying the Sylvanas story in World of Warcraft, because we predicted it the day the tree burned down. It's like they're gonna find some way to diminish this.
Bro, you stole got folded. Yeah, but see, that's what I'm talking about. I know we fought him before.
I don't dig it. It seemed very obvious and predictable that they would do something similar to that. Whereas now, coming over here, this character seemingly was killed, and I was genuinely like furious. One, because she dies in protection of Lise, which I'm like, really? We're not doing this. This is not happening. Much to the chagrin of our live view.
Bro, please, you can't say that, bro. I mean, even though you may not like Lise, bro, that in the story, that's still her friend. That is still Ystola's friend. Like, you may think that Lise, okay, Lise may be a lame character. She may be, you know, a sucky character. Her character development may not be as good as you may like it. You may not like it, or whatever. But story-wise, they do have history. Yustola and Ida, Lise, whatever you want to call her, they go way back. They got history. They're buddies. They're scions. They look out for each other. So you can't really say that she wouldn't protect Lise just because you may not like her. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm pretty sure you have a friend that, hey, they may suck. You may think they're a doofus, they're a jackass, but I'm pretty sure you would take a bullet for them. Like, what? Just because they may suck ass, what? You're just gonna watch your friend die? Like, come on, man. Like, you wouldn't be a fuckboy like that. I'm pretty sure Preach wouldn't be a fuckboy like that. Even though you may not like a character, in the story-wise, it works for the story, because these two characters, they've built up a relationship that is completely negated off our personal opinions, of our completely, how can I put this? It's completely separate from what we feel of. It's completely separate from what we feel of Lise. Like, forget how we feel of Lise. If we dive deep into the story of Final Fantasy, the world of Final Fantasy, if we look at all the adventures, all the trials and tribulations that Yustola and Lise has been on throughout this complete journey, then yeah, it works. It still works. Yustola can sit there and watch Lise just take a blade, to the heart like that, like it wouldn't work. Like, people would be asking, like, what kind of weird shit is that? Like, people would be more so asking questions as to why she wouldn't step up, So you have to take your personal feelings out of it. So,
He was just hilariously laughing at me and F, she's dead.
It will not save you.
Oh, don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. Fuck you, game. Oh, fuck you.
Yes.
And I said, she's got to come back. She's got to be fine. And like, nope. Copium, she's dead. And I although it's like make a silly intro for the video, it's like genuinely I felt that way. I genuinely felt that way. And then it really realized, like, I'm attached to this character. Like, I like this character.
Oh, he made that intro for the video.
And
bro, he debated us, bro.
They're not afraid to kill off characters, as we well know. They're not afraid to do it, which I'm always still under the guise that in a lot of games is that they're afraid to kill off characters because they're potential money in the future. Merchandise is a very real thing, and if people, a lot of companies are very, very terrified, much as they are in television world, of killing those characters off. Is one of the great things about Game of Thrones is they weren't afraid to kill off characters that the audience knew and loved. And to have this happen at this moment, which I know is fine now, I'm over it, I've relaxed, but it is one of those moments, and that's been my first sort of 15 hours into Stormblood. I think we're about 15 hours. No Primal to be seen yet.
Oh, okay, my mistake. So he's not done with Stormblood yet.
Changes, a lot of environmental changes, a lot of mechanical changes, and I'm really wondering how they alliance rating. They're very good to respond to what the players are liking and disliking, and then alter it accordingly as the expansion goes on. So that's where we're up to, guys, and stay tuned for much, much more. Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.
All right, preach. Yeah, so wow, so that was his 15 hours in. But yeah, I mean, I think he may like it towards a little bit at the end of it. Who knows? I mean, he may not fall in love with it like he did with Heaven's Ward.
For all of you, go to
Fuck you, Mr. Beast. But I mean, yeah, Stormblood. I don't think it's gonna reach the high. I'm pretty sure he won't think it's gonna reach the heights as Heaven's Ward. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, it gets a lot better, I believe, towards the end. With Rabon and Sultana, I believe they really did carry it. Towards the finish line. At least for me, that was honestly the highlight of the entire expansion. That for me. But I mean, if you care about that stuff, if you really honestly care about Rabon and it works. It was worth it for the expansion. Expansion wise, it was awesome. But we'll see. I'll try to keep you guys updated with with how Breach is going for that. But yeah, I honestly think with this for Stormblood, I'm gonna get into a little bit of spoiler territory as well. So if you guys have not finished Stormblood, then click off the video now. But I honestly think what the devs should have done for Stormblood, and I don't think it would have fixed everything entirely, but when Conrad, again, we're getting to spoiler territory, so leave if you guys haven't. If you new sprouts are getting to Stormblood, again, into spoiler territory. But when Conrad you know, when he dies, and when he gave the reins for Elise to take over, you know, as commander. When I think what is that when the Sultana, you know, relinquished Rabon of his seat, I think Elise should have honestly gave that position to Rabon. Rabon honestly has more authority, he has more experience. I think she should have gave that position to him so that he could kind of mentor her and tutor her, and when he got, like, you know, older and couldn't do it no more, took up that role as his successor. That way she could have been more prepared, and she would have had that experience, being that she was under his, you know, his tutelage. That would have made more sense, because now Elise is running this entire experience, and it doesn't fit. I think that would have made a lot more sense. I don't know if that would have everything, but it would have made more sense, man, because now just walking around just doesn't know what the fuck is going on, taking advice from like everyone is making much more smarter decisions than Elise, and this is like this shit irks me, man. Like, everyone's better than you, and it's I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Rabon would even want the position, because, you know, he's a soldier at the end of the day. Want to be pushing paper. I don't know if that role would even require to just be behind a desk pushing papers, but I honestly think that would have made a better outcome if Elise gave that position to Rabon. This shit doesn't work, because she's just doing this. She's honestly just doing everything on her whim, man. Like, because right now she's just like, yeah, she's like kind of like this hopeful blonde who's like, yeah, we're gonna change things and, you know, build a better future. And it's like, okay, like, what's your plan? Like, fucking, I'm doing more work, Albi's doing more work, Rabon's doing more work, every work than you. Like, we're making shit move, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Like, the more I think about it, like, yeah, they gotta give Lisa a win. I don't know if somehow in Walker she's gonna get, like, don't tell me, but yeah, at least they gotta give Lisa a win. Do something, bro. That's it for Breach. I'm gonna keep you guys updated once he finishes Stormblood. Lord have mercy. Give Lisa a win. I want to see this kid get a win. Do something with this kid. Take care. Bye bye.